Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ask an Old GM, and we are live. Yes, we are live, James. As usual, James was first. Then hello, Emily. Hello, 101 Mystic. Please feel free to lurk, and I got a timer going right here. Alright, if you need one. Hello, Natalie. Hello, Isong. How are you? You're gonna miss my interview today. I'm going to be interviewing Dinosaur Bob. He's an old GM, too. I should put my music back on, eh? Let's put on some that there. That sounds good. Does anyone else think these are Miles green? Oh, they're cute little bunnies. Mother of bunnies would love those. Bitzer, how you doing? Thanks for the raid. That's cool. James, that's awesome. Melee's is a darker green, yeah. Hey, I appreciate a raid anyways there, Bitzer. It's just, I don't care if it's one person or it's like 100 people. It's cool. You gotta appreciate it for what it is, and that is that somebody felt it was important enough to come to the stream with whatever they could gather. So yeah, as I let the cat out of the bag here, is that music too loud for everyone? It's too loud for me. Yes, for you it's too loud? That better? Geez, I don't know what happened to my music. I just decided it was going to take over. So as I let the cat out of the bag, I'm going to be interviewing Dinosaur Bob today on Ask an Old GM. He's got a meeting or something that he's doing right now, and then he'll be back. Right, so awesome sauce. Ah, okay, Bob's wrapping up in a few minutes, okay. Hello, Eli. How you doing, mate? Ah, Jesus. Ah, man. Well, maybe I can help with the frustration one. Hello, Scribe. What's causing your frustration? Ah, okay. So how come the only time I ever see you, Scribe, is during summer camp? Do you not ever show up when otherwise? Do you not like us? Do you think we're weird? Of course we're weird. Melody, thank you for the raid. They all can be good. Eli, put your words down. It's a first draft. Don't worry too much about it. How am I PMing? And I'm going to send you a Google Meet there, Bob. Just give me a second here. Okay, I'm going to send you a link in Discord there, Bob. And as soon as Bob's on, then we'll get on with this interview. Twitch died? Did I die? Oh, okay. Hey, Bob, how you doing, mate?
Oh, how's it going?
Okay.
I gotta turn on my light. Hold on a second.
Okay.
That's better.
Yeah, now we can see Bob. Can you hear Bob, guys?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm going to turn this music off because we're going to be interviewing Bob here.
Oh, I've got a sirenscape in the middle of my face. There we go.
Yeah, I just turned that off, so. Okay, so.
Wanted to see how scary you're making me look. Okay.
You're big on the screen, that's all. I could make it smaller. Ah, it's not important. Everyone should see who I'm interviewing. Alright. Okay, you're. Welcome to my stream, Bob.
Glad to be here.
Right? You're the first interview I've done on Ask an Old Jam. Right? And I picked you because we are actually rather close as far as friends go on Twitch. Right? And I figured it would be an easy introduction into doing interviews. And I'm not going to ask you any super hard questions or anything like that. Or yeah. Hello, Dazzlecat.
All right, I got a chat window up too, so.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm gonna.
I'm up over 110,000. I'm gonna have to start making sure I get to your game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of which, what's this? I ended up being chief cook for a while. Crowley got thrown in jail again.
Oh yeah. Well, Crowley got thrown in jail because they were using him as an undercover agent to get some information from prisoners.
He's been thrown in the brig before, though, hasn't he?
Yes. Yes, he has. Honestly, thrown in the brig before. This time it was an undercover thing, but yeah.
So did the crew survive my goblin chili?
Yep. Goblin chili. Yeah. Anyway, so where should we start?
Wow.
Well, everybody, y'all know Bob. This is Bob O'Brien. He's been gaming since Christ was a carpenter, like me.
Probably the only older GM than Aaron.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
I started GMing. I mean, what got me started at first? I was 17 years old in 1977, 76.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
76,
So,
77, somewhere around there.
so you're about 2 years longer than me.
And my girlfriend's kid brother, uh, basically all of a sudden out of the blue was like driving me crazy. I got to show you this game. We got to do it. So he shows me he shows me the chainmail fantasy rules supplement.
Oh yeah,
I know this looks interesting. This looks cool. How does this
yeah,
work? And we dicked around with that a little bit,
yeah.
and then that was like right when the first Dungeons and Dragons got published.
Yep.
And then like a couple of weeks later, he comes running with this hardcover book, you know, Actually, he came running with two hardcover books. He came running with a player guide, and he came running with a DM guide.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So he's showing me these books. Now I'm trying to hang out with my girlfriend.
Yeah, but the girlfriend's kid brother always does that.
He's 13. I'm 17. You know,
Right.
he's 11 actually. I'm 17.
Yeah.
And
So I was the kid
so
brother at
we're
the
looking through
time.
the player handbook. Oh yeah, you know what? This looks really cool. And literally at that point he says, "Great," and he hands me the DM guide and said, "We want to start playing next week."
And a legend was born.
Yep. And the first dungeon I built was the classic in this back for that era.
Hmm.
There was no world building involved. It was a bunch of
Yeah.
corridors with a bunch of rooms, and there were orcs in this one, and hobgoblins in this one, and
Yep.
trolls in this one,
Yep.
and there was they weren't all working for somebody, and they weren't all and they didn't eat each other, and they didn't and
Yeah.
they all just sat patiently in their rooms waiting for an adventuring party to come along.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's how you start.
Hmm.
Back then, that's how you started.
Hmm.
After one or two of those, though, I actually kind of got the world building bug before it was even called that, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, and I actually started working on a real campaign that actually made some sense. Well, in a fantasy world setting, of course.
Yeah, in
But
a fantasy world, 18,
yeah,
19-year-old kid
yeah.
sense.
And
Yeah.
I've been, I was DMing on and off. When we went into second edition, and well, AD&D, and then AD&D second edition. Stayed
Hmm.
with that for a long time. I had one campaign that ran for 6 years, and actually the most recent campaign before I started working on my current world
Which is where my
ran
next question
ran
was
for
going.
yeah ran for 8 years, 9 years.
Yeah.
Got the players up from first level. We weren't meeting every week. We were meeting approximately every month, so it wasn't quite as crazy as it sounds.
Okay, take a break for
But
just a second here. The
yeah,
dragon is gonna roar for people
uh,
who are.
okay. But we they,
Dragon roars for 15 seconds.
this was a party of seven that worked their way up
Okay.
from first level to 16th. I
Oh,
think they were
wow.
between 15th and 18th level when we finally canned it.
Wow, that's pretty decent.
So I mean, they ran the gamut. They visited about a quarter of the world I had built. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I hadn't built out everything else, but they covered
Mm-hmm.
about a quarter of the territory of a planet in their travels. That had to get built out ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that one finally wrapped up. There was basically nowhere else to take it, other than
Yeah.
okay, let's leave the world and start with the planes crap.
Yeah.
There really wasn't anywhere to take it, so we brought it to a logical conclusion. They saved the world, and
Sure.
um, although actually they ended up, unhappily, like the fighter in the group actually ended up, um, after conquering the evil emperor, ended up becoming the emperor. So there were a lot of those, like, you know, think the end of the Conan movie where he's not at
Mm-hmm.
all happy sitting on the throne.
Mm-hmm.
But that is another story.
Yeah.
And then I started working on Carterion. I started working on Carterion in November of uh, 2019,
Okay.
I
For
guess.
World Ember 2019, eh?
No, I wasn't in World Anvil then.
No?
When I
Okay.
started, it was Microsoft Word and Excel files.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and by about February, I realized that wasn't going to cut it, because
Mm,
I had decided this time I wasn't just building a campaign for one group of players. I was actually going to try to make something of it.
yeah.
And yeah, the Word and Excel approach just wasn't going to cut it anymore. So I
Mm,
started thrashing around looking for packages. Campfire looked really good. I, you know,
yeah.
it's not going to be a commercial. The Campfire looked really good, but I spent So I got a campfire account, and I spent about good 3, almost 4 months trying to make it really work,
Mm-hmm.
and it never really got there. It just wasn't. It wasn't intuitive to use.
Yep.
There were just a bunch of little problems. And then I happened to
Yeah.
be leafing through YouTube one day, and I caught a video by this guy named the Great GM,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and that video happened to be sponsored by a company called World Anvil.
Right.
So, in one of the rare times that I actually stopped to watch one of the commercials, I
Mm.
watched, and I said, "Yeah, let me take a look at this."
Yeah.
So at 10 o'clock in the morning on June 12th, 2020, I created a Freeman account on World Anvil.
Mm-hmm.
Started looking around. Started Liked what I saw right away. Started to see, okay, how can I move some of my file stuff in here? And
Mm-hmm.
it was a lot of copy and paste, but it was still
Yep.
easy and straightforward. And then I was looking around a little more. Oh, timelines. This is cool. Oh, calendars. Oh, this is cool. And by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I pulled out my wallet and went Grandmaster.
Yeah, I have a very interesting story as that was too. Diane Sable was looking into World Amble, and she's like, I want to get a World Amble account. I think we can get our patrons to pay for it. Right? And
Mhm.
so I crunched the numbers for her, and I said, you got to get this many patrons paying this much money to cover the account.
Right, right.
Right? And she said, well, I've already got that. Right?
Cool.
So I'm like, okay, cool. And she wanted a journeyman account. Right? And so
Right.
I built a Freeman account, and she built a journeyman account. And she said, when we get this much more money, we'll buy you a journeyman account. We'll buy me a master account.
Right.
Right?
So you worked your way up. Okay.
Yeah, it worked our way totally through it. Right? Within 2 months,
And
we'd
now you're
gone
both
from
inner sanctum.
we'd gone from there to she was
And
in her
so am I.
sanctum.
So.
Yeah, she was in her sanctum, and I was a sage in 2 months. All right? Just it
Yeah.
just exploded for us, and it was just yeah,
Well, it was the same thing for me.
yeah,
I went Grandmaster, so I had all of the features I needed to build the world out.
right,
But then again, my intention has always been to try to make a little money out of it. So Sage seemed
yeah,
logical.
yep,
My original plan was to go Sage like around now, before SummerCamp 2021.
yeah,
I had kind of timeline myself. I'll spend a year, and then after a year, I'll spring for the Sage.
mm-hmm.
And then on January 1st this past year, I open up, I turn on the computer, fire up World Anvil,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this notice, special 1 day sale only, half price for Sage.
Yep,
you know, so you know, you know, how can I turn that down?
yeah, exactly. Right. Well,
And then it was about a month and a half, 2 months ago was
the
at
final
that point
call
I was like, yeah, what, Inner Sanctum would be nice. Um,
at some
but it's
point.
not absolutely critical, and I'll get there eventually. And then the notice came out saying there's
Final
a couple
call.
there's a couple openings, and then we're closing the doors forever.
Yeah,
So I fired off a thing to Jimmy at that point. And,
yep. Well, we're glad to have you there.
yeah.
Another
I
voice
hope
of reason.
I actually hope once this past couple of months I've just been trying to get caught up on a bunch of other life things
Yeah,
that are finally getting resolved and put out of the way, and I'm hoping to actually spend a little more time. I have one of the upcoming projects that I've been putting off is to finish any of the stat blocks that Pathfinder 2 needs
mm-hmm.
that aren't already done. I'm hoping to do,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going to also need custom versions of all of them for my own world.
Right.
So I figure a good way to get started is to basically just build off some of the standard ones.
Yeah, the monsters and stuff you're talking.
Yeah, Well, I
Yeah.
mean, most of the important ones are done in Pathfinder for PF2.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them, but most like I said, most of them are done. There is a character sheet. It needs a little work.
Mm-hmm.
Divina and Tillers are the two that have been behind
Yeah, the character sheets.
the Pathfinder stuff. So I think
Yeah.
Davina did the character sheet. Tillers did a lot of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and they've got like one or two little things that need to be tweaked in them. I think, but so when I'm ready to really devote time to that, I will. I'll talk to those two, and
Mm-hmm.
because I certainly don't want to step on any toes.
Yeah.
But at the very least, at some point, I'm going to have to basically take their base work and then go in and tweak it for my own, because I do have a few rule adjustments and things like that that I have in mind for Criterion, just based on the play testing that I've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
and what I see and read on Reddit, and what I see and read. I'm doing my silent research. I think Pathfinder 2 has done a lot to streamline some of the kludginess that was in both Pathfinder 1 and is currently in D&D 5e.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, I
you know,
like
one,
what I've read of Pathfinder 2 so
yeah,
far. I'm
I'll
just
tell you,
taking
like
a.
combat action economy especially.
Yeah.
Uh, Once you get used to it, it takes a little getting used to, because all of us, because like everybody out there that plays 5e knows, all right, you get one action and you get one movement and one action, and you
Yeah.
can break up the movement, but you can't break up the action.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get a bonus action, and sometimes you don't. So sometimes you
Yeah.
get two actions, but sometimes you only get one action.
Yep.
Um, and then reactions are not a thing. They're not a problem because they happen on somebody else's turn anyway.
Yeah.
Uh, Pathfinders 2 at second edition kind of simplified that all, and they just said you get three actions.
Yep.
All right, moving is an action.
Yep.
You want to move three times, you can move three times, and now you're done for the turn.
Mm-hmm.
You want to attack three times, you can attack three times. A wizard can throw darts for 3 rounds if they want.
Yep.
There's a penalty for the second and third attacks, so it's not like you get three really good shots at hitting something. But if you want to mix it up that way, you can. So you don't have this. How many times have people, you get into melee in D&D,
Mm-hmm.
and
Just give me a
I don't
second,
need
Bob.
to move. I'm already where I am, you know.
Give me a second.
So I'm going to just stand here.
Sorry, somebody in the background there.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you think about it, in D&D, well, on the first turn of combat, I was able to run 30 feet and attack with my sword.
Yeah.
And now in the second turn of combat, I'm already standing right in front of the guy that I want to hit,
But
and I
I
can
can
only
only
hit him
attack
once.
once. Yeah.
So what happened at the time it took me to run 30 feet the last time?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I can't bound off another shot in that time. Yeah.
So, like I said, so once people get used to the fact of, once they get used to thinking of movement as just another kind of action,
Right.
the combats actually start going much, much faster. Even though you get three things to do instead of two, um, because those three are usually, I mean, it's usually a combination, obviously, of, I move once or twice and I
Mm-hmm.
attack once or twice. Most
Yeah.
spells take two actions, consume two actions.
Right.
So, that's how they limit, for example. Although there are a couple of combinations of cantrips and spells that you can get two things off in one turn.
Hello, Angstaze. Thank you for the raid. Hello, Maya Wrights.
Yes, welcome, Raiders.
Yeah.
So there are some interesting things, but there's still some kludgy things. Let me
Yeah.
bounce one of them off of you right now, actually.
Okay.
Um, a question that comes up all the time in the Reddit forums, and I've even seen it come up in the game mastering channel on the World Anvil Discord,
Mm-hmm.
um, and not just the Pathfinder forums on Reddit, but the Pathfinder, the D&D, the RPG. There's three or four of them where this question comes up. And the question, of course, is if I have somebody who's never played an RPG before,
Mm-hmm.
what are the easiest and what are the hardest characters to play?
Easiest thing to play is probably a fighter, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty. Everybody pretty much agrees on that.
Yeah.
What do you
Aside from that, a rogue
consider
would
the
be easiest.
hardest
Hardest
for,
thing to play, I think,
for
would be a
somebody who's never
sorcerer.
played a game before? I mean, that's the important thing here.
Of the main basic classes, I'd say a
Yeah.
sorcerer.
See, that's interesting. I pin it as cleric or druid, and let me tell you why.
Maybe druid,
A
maybe.
sorcerer only has to only the player of a sorcerer only has to learn the 5 or 6 spells that they get.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they have to read through the book to figure out which 5 or 6 they want. But
Right.
once they have them, they only have to get comfortable with 5 or 6 spells
Mm-hmm.
as a first level character.
Mm-hmm.
Assume again, this is a new player;
Yeah, yeah,
they've never seen any of this before. Clerics and druids have to get used to the entire first level spell list
yeah.
because on any given day, they get their spell slots and they can on the spot decide, oh, today I think I'm going to cast heal 3 times. Tomorrow I'm going to cast, you know,
Yeah, bless 3 times. Yeah.
bless 3 times, or 3 completely different things.
Right.
They don't have to decide what they're casting because
Well,
they have a whole list of 25, 30 spells. But that means that new player has to actually understand what those 25 or 30 spells do in game mechanic terms
in
in
a
order to be
sense,
effective.
I agree with you, sure, but in reality, they have to know about what 2 or 3 of them do.
Well,
Because,
they're going to use 2 or 3 a lot, but but
right.
the other ones are all available, and I can
Yeah.
tell you, every new player I've dealt with, they want to play with all of these different spells,
Well,
and
yeah.
forever you're like, no, you don't want to use that spell here,
That's
or
why
well, you can
I
try to cast that, but it takes 10 minutes to cast.
that's why I say a sorcerer is the hardest class to play because the spell lists are phenomenal, right? For wizards, right? For wizards and
Yeah,
sorcerers, and picking just
right, but at least
5
they can pick
spells
in the
from
off
that.
time. Is that's my point? There is that
Yeah, they
they
still
can
have to
pick.
read through every spell though,
Right,
just
but
like
they
a
have,
cleric or
but they
sorcerer
don't,
or wizard.
but they only have to go through every spell once, and they can do it at their leisure, and they could possibly even do it before you sit down to play.
Sure, but so could a cleric or druid.
Well, no, they can't because if you get your morning preparations, if you're playing 3 game days in one day, and the
Hmm.
situations change each day, when they have to decide what spell do I.
I
I mean,
suppose.
well, they actually don't prepare their spells. They don't lock them in like a wizard does.
Right.
They can cast any one of the 22 or 23 first level spells that are at their disposal
Okay.
as long as they have a first level slot.
Right.
So you put them in a new situation, and the first thing they do is go to the book and try to figure out which one of these 22 spells is the best one for this situation.
True.
And they do that every time you put them in a new situation
Okay.
because they don't know the spells. I'm very seriously thinking about making clerics and druids, and for that matter, wizards, kind of making them all spontaneous casters.
Yeah.
Now, wizards will still they'll still acquire spells in their spell book the way they do,
Hmm.
and they could, from time to time, get extra spells as loot.
Hmm.
But I'm very tempted to try making basically all spellcasters spontaneous casters. You got 2 spell slots.
Well, I tried that
You have a
before.
repertoire. Now, in the case of the clerics, they would get a prayer book, just like a wizard gets a book, or
Hmm.
a sorcerer gets a repertoire, or a whatever they call it. The bards call it a repertoire, but so you're a
Yeah.
cleric. Here's your prayer book. You get to pick which 6 prayers you want in your book.
Right.
Now those are the only 6 spells you have to know
Yeah. You see, I
every day.
tried this in past campaigns, mostly in second edition, right? And I find it works well for characters like clerics and even druids and paladins and other faith-based casters, but I find it doesn't work well in wizards,
Well,
right?
that's what
Because
I'm curious. Like I
it
said,
it tends to just totally bury the sorcerer class, and in this case the arcanist class too, in obscurity because there's no point in taking them.
except that they have, well, at least in Pathfinder 2, they have different spell lists to draw from.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Let me qualify that. In Pathfinder 2, there's four traditions of magic. Now, there's a lot of spells exist in all four traditions, of course,
Hmm.
but there are some spells that only a wizard can get,
Right.
and there are some spells that only a druid can get, and some that only a cleric can get, and some that only a bard can get.
Okay. But still buries the sorcerer.
Well, no, that now comes the sorcerer. The sorcerer chooses a bloodline.
Right.
The different bloodlines tie to those four different traditions.
Ah, okay.
So if you're a dragon blood sorcerer, you get the same spell list as a wizard.
Right.
If you're a demon based sorcerer, you get the same spell list as a cleric.
Ah, okay.
All right, and so forth.
Right.
There's,
Okay.
there's five or six different bloodlines you
Then
can
that
pick
might
from.
work. That might work
Yeah.
in a
So
Pathfinder 2 situation.
yeah. But it does kind of make the sorcerer. Now you get other things as being a sorcerer from being a sorcerer too. You get a couple of bonus spells that nobody else gets
Hmm.
that are tied to your bloodline. And you get this weird thing called blood. Well, you get blood magic thing, which you can use to like literally. I mean, it's almost like an extra bonus spell.
Mm.
And you get little side effects. At first level, it's not much of anything. Or well, at
Right.
first level, if you cast one of your blood magic spells, let's say you're a red dragon
Hmm.
blooded sorcerer.
Yep.
You cast the spell the special spell that you get because of that,
Hmm.
and for the next couple of minutes you grow red scales,
That's cool.
or you can have red scales grow on somebody else,
Neat.
which is even cooler.
Yeah.
And then as you go up the advancement tree, there are feats available. Actually, no, I don't think they're feats. They're classes.
Give it a second, Bob. The dragon's ready. And 421 words for House Melees from Natalia.
Oh, yeah. So there, as you advance as a sorcerer, each of the bloodlines gives you class features. Again, using the dragon as an example, at I think fourth level, I don't remember which order it is. I think at fourth level you get the breath weapon.
Oh, yeah.
So now you actually have it's certainly not as powerful as a dragon's, but
Mm,
you get a limited fire breath weapon.
that's cool.
And then at like 11th level you sprout wings
Cool.
when you're doing your blood magic.
Mm,
So now you can actually kind of almost quasi turn into a dragon. So there are they built extra appeals into sorcerer, for example. In
good.
other words, the wizard doesn't have.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there's definitely good reasons for sorcerer. I have to see what they did with witch.
Yeah.
I know they're in the advanced players guide. I haven't really dug deeply into that yet. I'm focusing on the first the core 12 from
From,
the basic rules.
yeah.
Um, but in fact, I'm a little sorry because one of the things I was happy about with second edition was it looked like they were kind of going back to basics,
Hmm.
and let's get a little deeper and richer with your basic player races and your basic classes, and
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah. And
And then the
then,
advanced guide comes out, and all of a sudden the advanced guide reads like, "Oh damn, Wizards of the Coast is doing this. We have to do it too."
oh, yeah.
You know. So
Yeah.
I mean that it's funny. I'm playing in a bunch of fifth edition games now,
Hmm.
and okay, what's your character? These are all first level character. What's your character? Oh, I'm a tiefling artificer that's gonna do this, and okay, I'm a dwarf fighter.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it's almost sounds boring now.
I know you always end up going back to the basics, though, right? Like, you know, I I played everything that you could possibly imagine. So have you,
Yeah.
right? I played a Modron. you know, right? Bard, no less.
Well, that's interesting.
Yes, a Modron Bard, storyteller. Right? But
How many dimensions did you get?
5. He was Pentadrone.
Okay, they're not so bad. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He talked weird though. People didn't understand him much because he talked in 5 dimensions. But yeah,
And so anyway, like I said, but anyway, back to what it's all around.
yeah,
I am hoping to go with a few rule tweaks and with the goal toward making the game a little more accessible to people that don't play, without messing it up for people who do.
yeah,
And trying to streamline things. You really need a 600-page rule book to explain this game.
yeah.
Uh,
Exactly, exactly. 530 words for us melees from Bitzer. Yeah.
Now, the other thing I do plan on doing, and this is a book right out of the TSR
Hmm.
catalog from 30 years ago or whatever.
Hmm.
The basics will be, here's the basic info. You want to be a dwarf, here's what that means. You want to be an elf, you want to be a fighter, you want to be a monk.
Hmm.
This is what all that means, and then here's your basic rules. Let's go.
Right.
Uh, Now, you want to learn everything there is to learn about being a dwarf on this world. Here's the supplement, the complete
Yeah.
Dwarves of Carterion supplement.
Right. Right.
It gets into all of the different major delves, that all of the big underground holdings, that you which one do you want to come from?
Right. Yep.
What are the differences between them? What does this mean? And there will be little tweaks and pluses and minuses, that you can enhance into the game,
Hmm.
as player stats.
Ours is going with a totally different sort of idea for race, eh? Right? You pick your basic race ethnicity type thing, but all your bonuses and stuff are based upon your culture.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing I've been bouncing back and
Right.
forth. I'm looking at the PF2 cultures, for example,
Hmm.
and well, they don't call them color, they call it heritage.
Heritage, yeah.
All right. And it's well, and most of it, it's something in your bloodline did this,
Yeah.
and a lot of them, some of them are cultures, and some of them are not, because of that. And it occurred to me that what you really want, because it is the most defining thing, more so even than your race, is your culture,
Hmm.
or the combination of the two at least.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm looking at trying, possibly detaching them at least partially,
Yep.
because again, right now, okay, dwarf. Here's the five. Again, in the player's handbook, here's the dwarf, and here's the five heritages you can choose from.
Right.
Here's the elf, and here's the five heritages you can choose from, and so forth.
Yeah.
Um, I'm thinking, just think again, from a cultural standpoint, for example, my world. If you're from a city in my world, you're used to dealing with all kinds of other races and all kinds of
Oh,
races.
yeah.
The cities are rather cosmopolitan, with a few exceptions.
Right.
So if you come from a city, you're going to have picked up certain skill sets, and I don't care whether you're a rat folk or an elf.
Exactly.
You're going to have
That's
picked up the
our
same skill sets.
that's our take on it
Yeah,
too, right? An elf and a dwarf from the same city are going to have more in common than two dwarves
correct,
from two different cities,
correct. And
right?
I'm thinking at least some of the cultures should be universal in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there should be an urban culture.
Mm-hmm.
There should be an agrarian culture. You're a farmer. Well, you know what? I don't care if I don't care if you're an elf, a human, or a goblin. If you're digging in the dirt to
Yep.
you know to make your living, then things
About digging in the dirt. Yeah.
about digging in the dirt that a dwarf in a mountain mine doesn't know.
Right.
So some of them are like that. Now I still see the need to keep some. Okay, you're an elf. Well, okay, some elves have this throwback, or
Yeah.
So I think it needs to be kind of a mix of the two.
Yeah.
One of the things that's been holding me up, in fact, on getting further in my how to build a character guide
Mm-hmm.
is mulling this all over in my head.
What I've come up with is the difference between integration and segregation, right, in a
Mm-hmm.
society, right? Um, I have a percentage, like a scale that goes from one side to the other, where you have like 0% integration, which is 100% segregation, right?
Mm-hmm.
To 100% integration, 0% segregation, right? Integration builds cultural points, and segregation builds stereotype points,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
Uh, the more that a culture is segregated, the more stereotypes there are around particular races,
Mm.
right? And then there's a list of things you can choose from for abilities or penalties that are based upon your levels of
Okay.
segregation and stuff like that, right? Um, which builds a society. So basically, because our world is known space, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like hundreds of worlds, right? Um, two elves from two different worlds could be entirely different,
Right.
right? Not even speak the
And
same language and
It
stuff.
says the same kind of thing. Yeah, dwarf cultures may vary from world to world.
Yeah, our dwarves are
Um,
different. Yeah, and privilege matters. She's right.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, again, I mean,
she's right.
noble is a culture.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I don't care if you're a dwarf noble or an elf noble or a goblin noble.
You'll have more in common with other nobles than you'll have in common with commoners. Yes.
With the commoners. You're right.
Yes.
Now, there will be certain pockets in my world where there is some segregation. If you read my the primer for the kingdoms region that I'm working
Uh,
on. All right, the first kingdom of humankind is very human centric.
right.
It's humans first and foremost. Halflings are okay only because they were made by the same gods as the humans,
Mm-hmm.
and
Author Goddess just
everybody else
subscribed. Thank you, Author
everybody else is
Goddess.
dirt. Yeah.
Subscribe with Prime. Thank you.
Uh, and everybody else is dirt. You're an elf. You can't even be a citizen to become. You
Yeah.
can live here. You can live here and you can pay taxes, and in fact, you can pay extra taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. But you only
you
count
know,
as
but
3/5 of a person,
but
or
but you can't be a citizen.
yeah.
There's no slavery in in the kingdom,
Right.
but
You
there
see,
might as
we
well
touch
be.
on that in some of our areas. There is slavery, right? And there's race-based slavery too, right? Especially among things like the bad guy races, like the
Right.
Cthulhuans.
Yeah.
Right, Cthulhuans are our answer to the Illithid, because Illithid are,
Yeah. You can't. Yeah. They're copyrighted.
yeah, right. Well, Cthulhuans are basically, you know, cephalopod-headed
Right. Okay.
aliens that use mind powers.
Uh,
Right?
gee, gee, that sounds unique.
Yeah, and they worship the elder gods and stuff, Cthulhu and
Yeah.
Shoggothi, and you know, yeah,
Now the other thing I'm thinking, I have player races, and I have to. One of the things you have to be careful, of course, but player races. None of the player races can be inherently evil
well, we
or
don't
bad
have
guys. There can
much.
be bad guys in them,
Yeah,
but I like and orcs is one of my player races. So
yeah,
you know,
we sort of moved
what was
everything towards neutral, eh?
yeah, the classic enemy of 30 years ago, the orc.
Yeah,
Um, now you can't say all orcs are bad. Oh, I see an orc, I kill it.
Right.
No, I mean, now if he attacks you, go ahead, kill it.
Yeah. And if he,
But
starts a war, well,
right, and looking at the way the industry is going with again with and this is Wizards' fault, with more and more player races, it occurs to me that even the non-player race, that even the races that right now are non-player races,
mm,
I can't make them with a few exceptions. I mean, demons and devils I can make inherently evil, obviously,
right.
but even like gnolls
Well, we
or
don't
giants,
we don't make
I can't
anything
make them
inherently evil.
right. They can't be inherently evil either because in 6 months I might need to create a null player character class.
Yeah, and
You know,
we don't make anything inherently evil
right?
because it isn't. Everything is much more gray than that,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
There are a couple of alien races that are evil, like from other dimensions. Okay, they got the Racks, which are short
Right.
for arachnids, and they're just spider-like aliens that are twisted. They're demented, right?
Right. But
They
they have their
treat
own purposes
they
and
have their
needs.
purposes and needs and stuff like that. Yes, right. They're just totally alien as they don't see you as sentient,
Right. Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. Now I'm extending that whole nothing is inherently good or evil even to my gods.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Well, our
I
gods
have
are abstract concepts for the most
yeah.
part. People believe a lot about them and believe they've seen them and stuff like that. But
Yeah. No. Mine are very real, but they're really just astral super races.
yeah,
They're not anything bigger than that or better than that. The
right.
more powerful of them are the ones that get to be gods on a prime world. Um, but like among the gods of the humans, there are good gods and evil gods.
Yes.
Among the gods of the dwarves, there are good gods and evil gods.
Oh yeah.
There are among the orcs,
Yep.
there are quote unquote good gods and evil. There. In fact, you don't even think of it as good and evil. Among the orcs, there are warlike gods
Yeah, and
and
peaceful
peacemaker
gods.
gods, and among the humans, there are selfish gods and cooperative gods, and
Yep.
well, as I'm going through that list, it occurs to me, okay, what do I do when I get to demons and devils?
Hmm.
And you know what? They don't need to be anything different or special. They're just another
No.
bunch of the same kind of gods.
Yeah.
And when I do that, when I start looking back to the second tier of player classes that everybody wants, which are and the first two that everybody asks for are Tiefling and Asavir.
Yep.
What suddenly happens is I don't need to have two. I don't need to have Tiefling and Asavir. I just need to
Yeah.
have one
Planner creature.
God's touched or planar touched,
Yeah.
and okay, which pick a god,
Yeah. Pick a god. Pick a demon. Pick a angel.
Well, the demons are just gods too. I mean,
Yep.
they're the same. There's a group called again, each one of these there are different races of these astral beings.
Hmm.
All right, the ones that created the humans are different from the ones that created the dwarfs, which are different than the
Hmm.
ones that created the goblins. Well, the demons and the demons and devils might be their own subgroup,
Hmm.
but they're still just another subgroup.
Right.
They're not really that distinct from there's no more difference between a demon and the god who created humans than there is between the god who created elves and the god who created humans.
Yeah. Anyways, I think I need to take a break. I got to go get a drink and do a bio.
All
All
right.
right. So I'm gonna
Well, what
go.
time is it? Because I actually ended up with the
It's
whole
3 o'clock.
schedule. Yeah. I may actually have to drop off eventually. Oh, what is this? What are they evil or blue and orange? What is?
Yeah, that's Anxiety talking about these racks that I'm talking about. They're so alien that basically,
uh,
can you say they're evil or are they blue and orange, right? You
yeah, I
know,
mean, but
they're just so alien that can
we
you
need to
really?
get away from the whole. This is good. This is evil. No,
Yeah,
individuals are good or evil.
yeah.
Races have their own motivations.
Good night, James.
Yeah. And as long as they're behaving within their motivations, then they're behaving good.
Hmm.
You know. for them.
Yeah. Anyways, I have to make a bio.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll hang out. I'll hold down the fort for a little bit.
Okay. I'll leave it on the.
I may have to bail in about 10 or 15 minutes, but I'll
Right.
hold down the fort now while you
Right. I'll leave
take
it
your
here
break.
then and just turn my camera off.
So, is there anybody out there with any questions or whatever comments? I haven't read the chat. Natalia got 150 words in, I see. That's what Melee's needs, more words. Oh, there we go, Daz. Go for it. Yes. Get those Sauropoda words out there. Blue and orange morality is a popular way to contrast with black and white morality. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. Melee's is the obvious team to back in a fight. So how are people doing out there with their prompts, by the way? Who's got how many done? I was hoping to spend today editing my first bunch of prompts, and I got absolutely none of that done. In fact, I don't think I logged onto World Anvil yet today. Do I still give races physical abilities? Yeah, yes, I do. But again, the Pathfinder 2 methodology of doing that, actually, you have different starting points for the different races, but there's mechanisms where you can accommodate for the weaknesses, yeah, and balance things. You can pretty much end up with any stats you want, no matter what race you choose. At least using the Pathfinder basic rules, the Pathfinder Second Edition basic rules. So yeah, everything starts at 10. But there are, you're a dwarf, then you get an extra. You have to start with 2 off here, and then you get but like I said, there's so many other parts of the character generation that you modify the stats that you can end up creating the same set of stats for pretty much any race. How you get there is a little different, but if you're in, somebody who's into nothing but the game mechanics, you can make any race end up with the stats that are, as long as the stats you're looking for are legal at all. And to put it simply, when you're done building a character, if you add up all of your attribute bonuses, it will add up to +9. You'll probably have 1 + 4, and then the other 5 will be spread across everything else. But like I said, it doesn't matter. Where you start simply limits how you get to where you want to go. It doesn't limit you. It doesn't prevent you from getting to where you want to go. Continue to fear or avoid World Anvil for fear of it. It will eat me. That's why I think it might eat me. It's like having. I likened it. I was talking to somebody once, and I likened it to, if you, if, at least in the U.S., everybody knows somebody who. First of all, every house every home you've lived in, there was somebody had a toolbox, and most of the time you weren't going to take it apart just for some repair or this or that. But everybody know anybody who, especially anybody who grew up in a suburb type situation, you knew somebody, or maybe it was your family was the somebody, but you knew somebody who in the garage had the rollout tray with the 37 drawers and the 900 piece tool set, so that any tool you might ever need was sitting right there. All right, that's what World Anvil is. It's that 900 piece tool set. Are you ever going to use all 900 tools? No. Are you going to use the same four tools that the person with the little lunchbox sized toolbox has? Yeah, yeah. That's what you're going to spend most of your time using and doing. But it's nice to know that you have those other tools if the need ever does arise. If you look at World Anvil like that, it's not nearly so scary. Oh, is Erin not? If Erin thinks he's back, he's not. Ah, okay. The person with hundreds of tools is more likely to lose weekends to them, though. That's true. Well, if you're that kind of person, oh, wow, I got this 200-piece ratchet set. I need to take something apart, or then yes, you can the potential for rabbit holes is there. Um, and then they'll have cool stuff to show for it, but the tools will eat them. Yeah. You can dig lots of rabbit holes if you have lots of tools. That's definitely true. Um, so many tools. Just today began looking into the co-author parts of the toolbox to drag a writing friend. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yep. There's that whole possibility. I will be starting to get into some of the subscriber group things in the very near future. If you might notice anybody who's trying to like read other folks' articles during summer camp. A few of my articles are going to have a spoiler in them that says, for a limited time only during summer camp, you can read this for nothing. But after summer camp, you go to my Patreon and sign up if you want to actually get this stuff. Stuff that's Game Master specific, for example. Um, so I'm kind of using summer camp almost as a free trial period. We'll see how that works. If nothing else, it'll let me experiment with how to do all that kind of stuff. So, and there's a lot of other fun stuff coming down the line, by the way, guys. Dimmy mentioned today he's working on forums. He's going to put a forum capability into. Well, it's essentially going into the campaign system, but not really. It's kind of on its own. Um, so that you can, it's forums. So it'll be interesting to see how much that cuts down on. I don't see it cutting down on Discord use, but and for gamers anyway, for example, out there. I mean, one of the big one of the few reasons to stick with Roll20 as opposed to going with some of the other systems that are out there now is that Roll20 has a forum system, and if you use it, that's good. Um,
Well, now you may not need to, because World Anvil will have a forum system for you. One of the things that they're building into that, by the way, is the ability, if you are using it for a campaign, for role playing games, you will be able to set who you're posting as. So for example, my player groups, they have a pair of forums each in Discord, one for out of character communication and one for in character role play between sessions. Well, when I move them over to World Anvil, the in character between sessions role play won't say Tom said this and Scott said that. It will, the actual character names will be the ones making the posts. So there's that. I know some people have been asking for a play by post system. That's being that's in mind, in Dimmy's mind too. So that's coming. Kronos is coming. I've dabbled a little. I have to get back to playing with that too. There's going to be some interesting change. Well, the existing timeline system will remain. Kronos is basically a whole new way of looking at timelines, somewhat distinct from the existing system. Um, that's coming. The generator stuff that was just recently put out. There's a lot of fun can be done with that. People are doing interesting things there. Building various random generators, random character generators, random name generators.
I'm back, Bob.
So Agsaz, yeah, the too many tools concept. It just keeps getting bigger too.
Okay.
Oh, welcome back, Aaron.
Yeah. So I sort of caught some of your conversation there, right? Yeah, talking about the new features in World Anvil and stuff. That's
Yeah, forums. I'm excited for forums.
yeah. I'm excited for forums too. I'm excited for Kronos.
Well, that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm looking. Dimmy apparently the whole. I think it's because he's starting with the forums piece, but he and that they announced that, or they very quietly moved Hercules, which is the round 2 of the whole campaign system. That's moved to in progress now. That's what Dimmy's working on.
Yep.
I'm really looking forward to that. In fact, I've been holding off bringing my players over into the current system, simply because there's a few. It's got a few weaknesses that I'd rather not have them. Have my players who are not World Anviling people
Get frustrated.
rather than have them deal with those problems and then come back and say, okay, now we're migrating again. I'm kind of holding off until that gets done. Because it's not just a toolbox; it's a toolbox plus a woodworking or mechanics or whatever club. Yeah. So people reinforce the rabbit holes. Yes, that's true too. But there's also people that help you climb out of the rabbit holes. So it's not all bad.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I know you're not. Yeah, you're not saying it's bad. It's just not. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. That's like any tool, Jump in with a rope.
Daz did. She just forgot to tie the other end off on anything.
Oh, was I supposed to tie the other end off? Yeah.
So now she's in the hole with a rope.
So, does anybody have any other questions? Because I'm going to have to actually go in about 5 minutes. So.
Yeah, if you got some questions for Bob, let us know. Yeah.
That's where I went wrong. Forgot to tie it off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you went wrong, Fantasy.
The only thing worse than forgetting to tie it off is tying it off to a friend who jumps in with you.
Yeah. At least then you won't get lost from each other.
So, more prompts tomorrow, folks.
Yeah, the prompts come out tomorrow. The prompts will come out tomorrow. Okay, well, thanks for coming, Bob. I really appreciate you coming. And
Yep. Yeah, it's been fun.
yeah, I've had a good time and learned a lot about your career as a game master, and that's sort of what I had you on here for. If people are not savvy enough to ask you questions and actually get into the
Well, I can save them up. You know where to find me too.
yep,
So.
you know where to find him, and he's always in my stream. Right?
I
So
try.
he tries.
I try to at least be lurking in your stream.
Yeah, so if you got questions for me or Bob later on, you know where to find us. And thanks for coming, Bob.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
And take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your stream. I'll probably be lurking for a little while anyway.
Okay.
All right, take it easy.
Take her easy, bud. Okay, so I hope everyone enjoyed that. I know I certainly did. I'll put some music back on now that. When it starts. Which dinosaur would be the best PC species? In my opinion, velociraptors. They're not too big, they're not too small, and they're supposedly really smart, so it isn't a far stretch to make them intelligent. Dionchincus, yeah. Velociraptors. We are generally in agreement that velociraptors are the. Oh, I don't remember. Bob, jeez. Yeah. Slee stack. Yes. Dead crystals, yeah. Grumpy the T-Rex, yeah. Okay, Bob, lurk away, buddy. Well, this is asking old GM, so if you got old GM questions, ask them away. All right. Racing. Which? A gale. Oh, okay. It's not something you generally want to do. Tends to cause serious damage to your ship. What you want to do is up your sails, turn nose into it, and just keep your nose to the center of the gale. I suppose, if you're close enough to a port, that you can outrun it, I suppose. Ah. That's a cat. 32 sauropoda words. And Bob is impressed. I'm not getting any writing done right now. I am tired as hell. Oh, God, no. Thanks, Ozzy. I haven't got anything done. Alright. It was too hot to even consider doing it for about a week here. And then after that, I had to catch up on all the stuff we missed during the week that it was too hot. Computers were barely running. And now my lighters are empty. Life has been like that, yes. I haven't even gotten any work done on my campaign world or anything. I got the 10 prompts done for SummerCamp, and that's about it. Yeah. Yeah. Donut though, eh? Like cold sleep for days, and I'm in too much pain to do anything about it. Like, nope, screw it. Sleeping through this day. Yeah. Just have to raids all the time there. That makes sense, Taz. Get in the basement, get some AC on. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much what's gonna have to happen if we're gonna survive. Sorry about that. So what do you come up with there, Daz, for your rules? Oh, what's this? Oh yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sort of like West Edmonton Mall. Or suffer the nauseated condition. They actually get to grab the rail. That's cool. I got seasick for the first 3 months I was at sea. Every day. It was awful. Then I got used to it, and I've never been seasick ever again. I don't get motion sick at all. And I'd have been happy to be able to grab a rail. Mostly all I could do is sit there on the deck and puke into a bucket. Yeah. Been in London all day, Stretch. That's cool. Cool, Daz. It's cool so far. So what were you doing in London there, Stretch? Chair's back up too far. That's cool, it is. Oh yeah. So basically it was a mission of mercy. I understand. So you missed the interview with Bob. I've checked that out on the VOD later. Oh yeah. Who comes on after me? Coffee comes on after me. Okay, random die roll. To see who has to go do it. Nice. Stretch, that's cool. What channel? Throw it up here so in case people want to check it out, they can go check it out. To see what ship disaster happens. Okay, that's cool. Ventilation holes. You drill them upwards at varying points. Okay, so check out Stretch on his channel in 2 hours. Okay, sorry, ignore that. Don't check out Stretch on his channel. Check out Stretch on. Yeah, he probably will host it. Okay, what's that there? RQ Staffin. That's who you're going to go see. Twitch TV /RQ Staffin. STAFFAN. And then you can go check out Twitch playing Call of Cthulhu. You can check out Stretch playing Call of Cthulhu, not Twitch. What the hell? That's a weird Freudian slip. Yeah. Call of Cthulhu. Forgive me, this is Cthulhu calling. Oh shit, it's the Call of Cthulhu. The posh name that you can't remember right now. That's cool. $72 Sarapata words from Dazzlecat. Yeah, we understood. We speak your gibberish there. Stretch. Yep. Stretch, is that when you're going live? I'll go rest. Nobody here that needs moderation there. Stretch. I can handle any bots that come in. You go get some rest. It's cool, mate. Well, what are you doing next Friday? Or Tuesday, even. During my stream time. Yeah. I do not sing. I know you redeemed sing a song. But that's for Sable, not for me. Cool, Des. Ah. Well, find out if you're available. I'd like to interview you on my program. On some one of these days when you're free, on a Tuesday or Friday. Gotta go talk to some other people too, like Dimmy. See if he's got some time ever after summer camp. It's cool. I've only ever interviewed one person. That was Bob. Bob was a really easy interview because he likes to talk. He's got plenty to say. And so that was an easy interview. That ain't true. I conducted an interview with R.A. Salvatore 22 years ago, I think it was. 1999 or 1998 or something. Nah, thanks for the offer, though. Thanks, Taze. I prefer a more organic approach to it. Back in the day, yeah. Yeah, X for carbon compounds, yeah. Organic. Yeah. Back in like 98, 99, I was the lead on a website that was the largest third party publisher for um, second edition AD&D uh, products for core rules. The program they came out with second edition. Oh, yeah, second edition, yeah. And we were the world's largest repository of mods for it. Excellent, Stretch. You are doing fine. I had a headache for like 24 hours. That was all I did from the COVID shot, the first one. My second one is in 6 days, so. Yeah, I'm with thanks, Jose. I recommend you continue to be such a negative person, DM Stretch. Yeah, a lot of people had that problem at that time, Fantasine. Right? Uh, it was the age of the internet. The diaspora, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Not a clue, Daz. I just did them all. Diaspora, yeah. Well, that depends. How much yard work do you need to do? I mean, I need to do a lot of yard work, but I'm not doing it. Yeah, I might need some serious polish too, but the way I see it, you polish a turd, it's still a turd. Ah, is this copyright there? Or there, Angstaze, are we allowed to play this, or is this gonna get us muted? Okay. Too bad. But everybody listen to whatever Anxels they put up there. I'll listen to it later. We will be rating coffee as soon as she comes up. They come up, rather. Let's not misgender people. It's cool. Unless somebody wants to lead a raid somewhere else, if there's another World or Game of Tome streamer. Minis, yes. Daz gets to play with live players. So do I. I got 3 players that play in my house. Sable, our roommate, and our nephew. Sure. Yeah, I'll look at the song there. This one? Rich Fantasy Lives? Oh. Google Drive link. Backing it up, backing it up, backing it up, backing it up. Am I crazy? What's this? No, that's not it. Okay, can you relink it? I can't seem to find it, hon. That's cool, Anastasia. That's really cool. Yeah, it does look remarkably like a real song. I don't know. Sable could probably sing it. I don't know. 152 for the Sauropoda. That's really awesome. Right? Like I say, yeah, if you brought it up to Sable, she might be able to sing it. I can't read music. I never could. I can play like almost any instrument you put in front of me, but I can't read music. Or at least I could when I had 2 functioning arms and stuff, but can't play music, can't read music, can't play a clarinet. Cool. Well, that's almost it for me, guys. I'm gonna see if coffee's gone up yet. What do we got here? No coffee. Okay. You're in grade 5 for air guitar. Awesome. Masadi's has a lobby. Yeah, Pride's got a lobby, I think. Masadi's ain't even on my thing as being up. Royal Conservatory Fantasy Music. That's awesome. Yeah, they've gone down. They just didn't change their thing. Well, I'll give coffee a few more minutes here. Not sure what time it is in Japan, but yep. Yeah, Chloe Alice Balkan, she's alright, is she streaming Game of Tomes though is the thing. Yeah. Want to keep it in the Game of Tomes streams for at least the summer camp. Coffee's hosting us. Well, if coffee doesn't come up in the next few minutes, I'll set the raid for Pride, I guess. Yeah, they're supposed to be up now. What are you doing on a Saturday morning? Yeah, don't you there? Exhausted, I know what you feel. Okay. Okay, well, I think I'll go raid Pride then. Alright, I'm tired. Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for streaming with me all. Next stream in 21 hours, 57 minutes, 21 seconds. And that's right with Aaron. That's tomorrow. Alright. At 2 Pacific. Oh, coffee's up now. Okay, I'm gonna raid coffee then. Oh, Kuna's alive with a happy hour. Yeah, I'd rather do that. Yeah. I like raiding Kahuna. Yeah, I like happy hour. I like happy anything. Okay, we're raiding Kahuna. Oops. We're raiding Kahuna.
Woo! We went from 0 to 13.
Well, that's a bit all stack.
Yeah, but still.
But welcome, Raiders.
Hello.
Welcome,
Hello.
welcome.
I would like to eat a piece of cheese. No. Billy.
Blame Aaron.
Blame Aaron.
Pillow Stretch.
Hey, Stretch.
Welcome, Fantasy, Daz, Kit. Prepare to be boarded. Well, board away. We got
Hey,
snacks.
Dad. Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
Did you spell that wrong on purpose, Aaron?
What? Yes. Always knows. We're raiding.
Alright!
Raid away.
What was that gun that came up? What was that?
That emoji.
Oh. Why? You spelled it out.
Because it's an emoji.
Look, there's Wesley's rear end today.
How nice of him.
He was cute.
He ain't getting squat.
I know. So, anybody do anything fun this week besides write? And write